Artem Monster Law Office. I'm finally here. Since this isn't your first visit, Artem doesn't come out to greet you. You walk through the long corridor and reach his office. He is the only one in the entire law office. He is a famous monster attorney who takes on cases only from other monsters. Very few people are willing to do this, so even though his win rate is extremely high, some monsters still refuse to trust him. The Omni-Spirits Bureau often handles criminal cases. When defendants can't find legal representation, the Bureau asks their partner lawyers to take the case pro bono. Mr. Wing, here are the files for the new case.
그냥 백은우라고 불러주세요. 우리 이미 여러 번 만났잖아요.
Oh, alright, Artem. Artem simply sets the case file aside. He's holding another document which looks like it's from another case. Right, have you been wanting to conduct fieldwork?
갑자기 어떻게? 국장님이 알려주셨나요?
Yeah, and I'm actually putting together a team. We could potentially work together if you'd like.
물론이죠. 덕분에 큰 고민을 해결했네요.
May I ask why you want to go out into the wilderness? Autumn thinks for a moment and then hands you a document. The Mystic Stick case.
이것도 말령국에서 제가 맡은 국선 변호 중 하나예요. 얼마 전에 검은 사슴이 야외에서 요력을 탈취했다는 혐의로 기소됐거든요. 피해를 당한 요괴의 이름은 창우인데 물을 다루는 능력이 있는 요괴예요. 창우가 감월성에서 말령국 요원한테 발견됐을 때는 이미 숨이 끊어지기 직전이었어요.
Was it the Mystic Stag who killed him?
아니요. 검은 사슴이 직접 그를 죽인 건 아니었어요. 창우의 요력 대부분을 빼앗아간 거죠. 창우는 너무 쇠약해진 나머지 삼켜진 숨결의 영향을 받아 폭주했고 요괴의 뼈까지 산산이 부서졌어요.
The Bureau has indeed found quite a few shattered curse bones in the wilderness lately. The screen in front of you displays photos from the crime scene. In an old room, shattered bones are scattered in the corners.
현장에 있던 요원이 사건을 말령국에 넘겼고 조사 결과 범인은 검은 사슴으로 밝혀졌어요.
The file records the crime scene and sequence of events in detail. The Mystic Stag was taken into custody and openly admitted to the crimes. But now that the Mystic Stag has confessed in theory, this case should be closed. Could there be something else going on behind the scenes?
저도 아직 확실한 건 없지만 검은 사슴의 태도를 보면 뭔가 석연찮은 게 있어요. 그냥 방치한다면 검은 사슴에 대한 판결은 가장 공정한 판단이 되지 않을 거예요. 그래서 제가 사건 현장을 직접 조사해보려 합니다.
Still as responsible as ever, I see.
괜찮으면 바로 출발하죠.
Sure. Imperial City Street. When you explore a new area, figuring out the road is always the most important thing. Unfortunately, the map of this area isn't complete yet. I wonder if we can find any monsters living around here to confirm our route. Luckily, this isn't a dangerous area. A few gentle-looking spirits are trot past you. You and Artem quickly seize the opportunity to ask them some questions and finally confirm the route you should take. Perfect. Now we can smoothly proceed to our next destination. With the completed map in hand, you immediately resume your journey. Imperial City Street. What's wrong, Artem? I'm thinking about the Mystic Stag. We've seen quite a few shattered curse points along the way, assuming that none of this is related to the mystic stag who could be the real culprit. Earlier, you briefly organized all the known information, laying out your next course of action. But you only end up with more questions than answers as the mystery deepens. Speculating further won't help us now. Let's continue investigating. We're bound to find some new leads. That's true. After walking a few steps, Artem stiffly raises his arm and rubs his shoulder. Huh, your body. You notice a murky substance clinging to him, spreading toward his shoulders and neck. Engulfing breath. Artem frowns slightly, his fingertips brushing over the subtle stirring of spiritual power. But the engulfing breath remains completely unaffected, stubbornly extending its tendrils like repulsive parasites. I must find a way to eliminate it, otherwise the engulfing breath will only corrode deeper and deeper. Let me try. Just relax. You place your hand on his shoulder, attempting to purify him using the power of the bluebird. Within moments, the previously relentless engulfing breath stops spreading and even begins to recede. Great, my power is doing something.
네, 아까 느꼈던 어지러움이 많이 가라앉았어요. 힘들면 저를 놓아도 돼요. 절대 무리하지 마세요. 고마워요. 정화가 정말 효과 있네요. 당신의 힘 덕분에 모두 사라졌어요.
As the last trace of engulfing breath dissipates into the air, you breathe a long sigh of relief. How are you feeling? Don't worry, I'm feeling much better. The calm and gentle tone in his familiar voice helps soothe your nerves. It was unexpected, but fortunately, you had a solution. Danger is always unpredictable, but I'm glad you're safe. Yeah, we should stick together from here on. Of course, we're teammates, aren't we? Abandoned building. A wind comes from nowhere, sweeping through the sealed room. The ceiling lights flicker, dim and eerie. Inside an abandoned building in Imperial City, you and Artem have just finished combing through every corner. There's barely a trace left. Normally, the Bureau wouldn't bother cleaning up shattered curse spoons out in the field. But maybe they brought back the curse spoons for investigation because of how unusual this case is.
아쉽게도 사건 기록에는 관련 정보가 없네요. 아무것도 찾아내지 못한 모양이에요. 그래도 조사하러 온 요원이 이 근처에서 떨어진 사슴뿔을 발견해서 검은 사슴을 특정할 수 있었죠.
The wind stirs the dust pile up in the room. Autumn sweeps away the drifting particles in front of you. I've seen a mystic stag, but according to the Omni-Spirits Bureau's records, a new spirit becomes a scion deer after thousand of years of cultivation, and a mystic stag after 2,000 years. Chang Yu is an ancient demon. I've heard that he is violent in nature and immensely powerful. How did the mystic stag manage to subdue him with just 2,000 years of cultivation?
근처를 둘러보죠.
Abandoned building courtyard. Outside the courtyard, weeds grow thick and there are footprints on the ground, likely left by Omni-Spirits Bureau agents during their investigation. This is where they found the atlas. The slender brush snaps, but is pointed and hidden by something doesn't spring back as you expected. That's charred residue piles up in the corner of the wall. It's hard to spot because of how it blends in with the soil hidden by the weeds. Did someone burn something here? Artem crouches and touches a bit of ash with his fingertip. He rubs it and his expression shifts.
형혹의 불꽃.
What's that?
예전에 불의 신이 별자리를 가지고 영원히 꺼지지 않는 불꽃을 만들어냈다고 해요. 그게 바로 형혹의 불꽃이에요. 고대에 삼켜진 숨결이 터졌을 땐 인간과 요괴 모두 극심한 혼란에 빠졌고, 그때 형혹의 불꽃도 자취를 감췄다고 해요. 지금 보니 검은 사슴의 손에 들어간 것 같네요.
But I remember that the first Kiss Falls didn't mention anything being found on the mystic stag.
체포되기 전에 형옥의 불꽃을 숨겼을 수도 있고, 아니면
Artem doesn't finish the thought. He shakes his head slightly as if denying whatever had just crossed his mind. He stands up and gently blows the ash from his fingertips, watching as it disappears.
다른 단서를 더 찾아보죠.
Artem follows the trail of ashes. You walk behind him. For a moment, only your footsteps echo in the courtyard. In under 5 minutes, you finish circling the courtyard and return to your starting point. The ashes also happens to form a complete ring.
검은 사슴이 창우의 힘을 빼앗은 방법이 이거라고 생각해요. 형옥의 불꽃으로 창우를 마당에 가둔 거예요. 창우는 물을 다루는 데 능숙하고 홍수까지 일으킬 수 있어서 분명 방심했을 가능성이 크죠. 그런데 형옥의 불꽃을 끌 수 있는 건 만년설이뿐이라서 창우가 가물성 전체를 물로 잠기게 하더라도 이곳에서 한 발짝도 벗어날 수 없었을 거예요. 형옥의 불꽃이 계속해서 타올라 창우는 점점 더 약해졌고, 그 틈을 타 검은 사슴이 요력을 빼앗았겠죠.
According to Artem, the flames of Mars are no ordinary fire. Since the mystic stag can control them, she must have a way to make them burn only Changyu. If that's the case, then the mystic stag isn't exactly innocent. Artem, what do you find suspicious? He told you that there was more to the case when you met him at his office that day, but he has yet to explain what he thinks so. He stands in the shadow near the wall, lowering his eyes so you can't read his expression.
검은 사슴을 만났을 때 감정이 복잡하다는 걸 느꼈어요. 체포된 것에 대해 마음을 내려놓은 것 같으면서도 무언가를 걱정하는 듯했죠.
Emotions? You rarely hear Arthur mention something like that, considering how clients and agents who've worked with him describe him as rational. And now that he's judging whether a case has hidden details based on feelings rather than evidence, was the mystic stag's behavior truly that unusual? Autumn pauses, his eyes flicker for just a moment before his usual composure returns.
야외에서 요괴가 폭주하는 건 흔한 일이에요. 그날 요원이 창우를 마주치지 않았다면 검은 사슴은 그대로 법망을 피해갔을 거예요. 설령 누군가 창우가 남긴 요괴의 뼈를 발견하더라도 그저 폭주라고 생각했을 거고요. 계획이 이렇게 치밀한 걸 보면 검은 사슴은 이런 일을 처음 한 게 아닐 거예요. 다른 피해자도 있을 것 같네요.
But how are we going to find the other victims? You both fall silent. The sound of wind rustling the branches becomes particularly clear between you. Right, we can check the missing persons records. If the missing stag's targets were all great demons like Zhang Yu, then there must be records of them in the Omni-Spirits Bureau. Cases of disappearance or death would also be recorded accordingly.
제가 직접 본부에 가서 조사하긴 어려우니까 단서를 찾으면 사무소로 찾아와줘요.
Okay, back at the Omni-Spirits Bureau, you quickly narrow down two high-level demons who have gone missing in the past 6 months. Juru and Yonghei, both demons who are on par with Changyo. While it's still early in the day, you head straight to Artem's law firm with their files. Artem Monster Law Office.
서두르지 말고 물부터 한 잔 마시면서 진정해요.
A cup finds its way into your hands. You take a sip. The temperature is just right. Artem must have prepared it in advance. I hadn't really noticed before, Artem, but you can use demonic power too. I'm guessing it's because of some connection you have with a certain spirit.
전
His lips part, but he doesn't say a full sentence. Realizing that you may have accidentally brought up something personal, you quickly wave your hand to brush it off. I'm not trying to pry, it's just that I'm the same way, so I can relate. But you don't have to tell me. Let's get back to discussing the case. Before Artem can respond, you hand him the file. He looks momentarily surprised but takes it all the same. Perhaps you are just imagining things, but you can hear an almost inaudible sigh. When you glance over in confusion, Artem is already focused on reading the file. According to the records, Juru is a demon that incites military conflict, while Yonghe brings drought. Like Changyo, there are demons who bring disaster and misfortune, but after the peaceful era began, they stop causing trouble.
그저 공개적으로 악행을 저지르지 않았을 뿐이에요.
What? Artem quickly finishes reading and neatly arranges the files, placing them aside.
모두 공통점이 있는데 바로 현재의 사회에 반대하고 요괴야말로 세상의 지배자라고 생각한다는 거예요. 하퍼시의 평화를 무너뜨리기 위해 계속해서 움직이고 있어요.
What? The Omni-Spirits Bureau has received any reports about this?
일 때문에 다양한 요괴들을 만나다 보니 어느 정도 알게 됐거든요.
Arthur smiles faintly as if hiding even more secrets. To be on the safe side, you decide to report what Artem told you once you're back, so your colleagues at the Omni-Spirits Bureau can prepare if things go south.
거루가 비취 채석장에 불법 시설을 설치했다는데 한번 가보는 게 어떨까요?
Sure, but it's getting late today, and we still need to go to the employment office to help settle the monster we rescued.
서두를 필요 없어요. 일단 하던 일부터 마무리하죠.
Okay. After returning the files, you head to the employment office with Artem. Artem, what's wrong? You look a bit tired. It's nothing. I was just explaining some legal matters to a client earlier. We encountered a slight issue. Even you find this case challenging. I wonder what kind of case it could be. It's about a child who hasn't finished their homework and is worried about being scolded by their parents. Therefore, he chose to discuss with me in advance about how to get himself admitted into an orphanage under the Omni-Spirits Bureau. Huh. Just to avoid doing homework? That seems a bit. I spent quite some time convincing him to go back and talk more with his parents. You must be exhausted, Artem. I never thought a brilliant attorney like you would have to take on a task like this. Here, have some hot soup to warm yourself up. The temperature difference between day and night is quite significant around here. It might get even colder tonight. It's delicious. Thank you. I never thought you'd be able to find ingredients even in such a remote place. That's really amazing. It's nothing. I often have to visit clients and monsters who live in remote areas. So I've just picked up some knowledge about the basics food, clothing, shelter, and all that. I really hope we can work together like this on every mission in the future. At least there will be a steady improvement in the quality of life. Well, we could. Don't worry, I was just joking. Wait, did you just agree? We can discuss this matter another time. Let's have the soup first before it gets cold. Okay. Jade Quarry. Artem, have you noticed that monster seems to have been following us for quite a while? What? Artem turns to look where you're pointing, and sure enough, a small spirit darts out from behind a rock with a blue crystal shard in its mouth. After exchanging puzzled glances, you both approach the little spirit and crouch down to observe it. May I ask what brings you here? The small spirit glances at Artem, drops the crystal shard in his mouth, and chirps cheerfully a few times. You want to go to Hetsu City to be a fortune god for the humans. Fortune god? Do we even have such a position? I believe I've heard about this position before. After a brief pause, Artem looks seriously at the little spirit. However, the requirements to become a fortune god should be quite high. We can do a quick assessment for you. But once you go to Hetsu City, you may have to undergo an even stricter evaluation. The little spirit lets out a sound and nods. Seeing that, you and Artem begin a careful assessment of the spirit. Once he earns your approval, the crystal picks you, bounces around excitedly, and thanks you over and over. It's alright. I hope you can bring good fortune to more people in the future. The crystal picks you, gives you a serious chirp, then turns and set off in a light sprint toward the human settlement. Just before leaving, he suddenly seems to remember something and points toward a nearby fork in the road. He must mean that taking that route will allow us to pass through this district. What a pleasant surprise! Maybe this little one is really a fortune god after all. Yeah. After waving goodbye to the crystal pixie, you and Artem head off again in the direction it pointed out. Jade Quarry. In coughing breath, these things really get everywhere. The swirling engulfing breath coils around Artem's fingers, threatening to spiral up his arm. Without thinking, you grip his hand tightly. I'll handle it.
손이 떨리네요. 걱정하지 마요. 제가 잘 협조할게요. 걱정하지 마요. 당신이 치유해줘서 이제는 많이 나아졌어요.
Thank you. As the engulfing breath disperses, Artem quietly pulls his hand away, leaving only a faint warmth in your palm. The places where he's been corroded leave behind only a faint trace. Thankfully, the wound isn't too deep, otherwise who knows what lasting effects it could have left. He flexes his knuckles slowly, adjusting to the newly healed flesh. It's alright. I'm thankful for your help. It doesn't seem to affect my ability to use my power. Shattered curse bones are scattered at his feet. Artem breathes a barely noticeable sigh and shifts the subject. We shouldn't linger. We need to make haste and investigate the powers of the mystic stag once again. Jade Quarry. The quarry is a remnant of an earlier age. It's been abandoned for years, and aside from adventurers and Omni-Spirits bureau agents, no one ever comes here.
이쪽으로. 발밑 조심해요.
You nod and follow Artem's lead. The quarry scenery is incredibly monotonous, and even after walking for quite a while, it still feels like you're going in circles. Although there are no official records of Juru's illegal operations, Artem seems familiar with the place. He leads you to a large grey-blue door. The door is ajar, revealing a gap just wide enough for one person to pass through. You can't see what's inside.
안에 아무도 없어요. 절 따라와요.
Artem steps inside first. Arena. This is... The space beyond is much more open than you expect. A massive arena lies at the center, surrounded by elegant buildings. Just one wall separates two completely different worlds. You wonder how much effort it took to construct this place. It's vast and entirely deserted now, clearly out of operation. Considering that Juro deals with chaos, it makes sense that he's illegally operating an arena.
맞아요. 하퍼시 내에서는 분쟁을 일으킬 수 없으니 본성을 억누르다가 이런 방법을 생각해낸 거겠죠. 우리가 어떻게 여기까지 왔는지 기억하나요?
As you try to recall the route, you realize that the scenery on the wall and the way here all look similar, and Artem often changes direction, so you can't answer his question. Could this be how Juro hides the arena?
맞아요. 눈속임과 비슷한 거죠.
Artem opens his palm and a vermilion paper crane rises from it, flying toward a seat in the audience before vanishing.
투기장은 회원제로 운영되는데 거르는 회원들이 정확한 위치를 찾을 수 있도록 이런 종이약을 하나씩 나눠줬어요. 이건 제가 이전에 맡았던 의뢰인이 제공한 거예요.
Artem seems to notice your confusion and gives a brief explanation.
눈속임 말고도 거루의 능력으로 사람들의 눈과 귀를 속일 수 있는 방법이 아주 많아요. 말년국이 관련 정보를 얻지 못한 것도 이해가 되죠. 가요.
Because the venue is so large, you begin with a general sweep. The spectator seats reveal nothing unusual, but fragments of shattered curse bones lie scattered in the center of the arena. 3 deep claw marks etched into the stone floor show how sharp Juru's claws are. 2 drops of blood lie nearby, their source unknown.
이 요괴의 뼈는 거루의 것이군요. 그가 죽어서 투기장이 이렇게 황량해진 거네요. 거루는 원래 싸우는 걸 좋아해서 싸움 구경하는 건 물론이고 직접 경기에 나서기도 했대요. 심지어 한 번도 패한 적이 없다고 하더라고요.
So, the mystic stag challenged Juru to seize his power. She already gained Chang Yu's power, so if she faced him head-on, victory might be possible.
이상하네요.
Artem's expression shifts as he murmurs softly, his eyes moving between the claw marks and the bloodstains. What's wrong? Does something seem off to you?
설명하기 전에 부탁이 하나 있어요.
No problem. As long as it's something I can do, I'll do my best.
당시 검은 사슴을 체포하는 데 참여한 요원들이 누구였는지 알고 싶어요.
Alright? What Artem asks for isn't too troublesome to find, but it does require you using internal channels so no outsiders can be present. Seeing your hesitation, Artem heads off to investigate the area on his own. By the time you finish contacting the bureau, Artem finishes as well. He is leaning against a stone pillar near the audience seats, his expression dark and unreadable. It's hard to tell what's on his mind.
왔어요? 제 쪽에선 단서를 찾지 못했는데 당신은요?
I found out that the team was composed of 1 senior investigator and 4 mid-level investigators. The senior agent has the ability to use demonic power. Among the 4 mid-level agents, 1 is a monster and the other three are ordinary humans.
그럼 그 요원들의 실력은 창우와 비교하면 어떤가요?
You shake your head. They might be more than capable of dealing with the mystic stag, but against an ancient demon like Changyo. If Changyo is behind this crime, we need to dispatch agents who are of the same level as him. Otherwise, it would be difficult to subdue him.
그렇군요.
As if his guess is confirmed, Artem's expression eases slightly.
검은 사슴이 창우의 힘을 얻었다면 왜 그렇게 쉽게 잡힌 걸까요? 아니면 체포되는 것도 계획 중 하나였던 건 아닐까요?
Maybe we can look into the mystic stag's power and see just how capable she really is. Artem thinks for a moment and then nods silently. Interrogation room. Thankfully, it's a lot more convenient to work now that I'm an official agent. After a brief peep, the mystic stag walks in. The guard outside greets you before locking the door again. You interrogate the mystic stag again as an agent of the Omni-Spirits Bureau. Since Artem is her defense attorney, he remains waiting next door as it is inappropriate for him to be present. The interrogation room's glass is one way. You can't see Artem, but you can feel his gaze. Hello, I'm an agent from the Omni-Spirits Bureau. I'm here today to learn more about the case.
이게 대체 몇 번째야? 너흰 안 귀찮아도 나는 아주 지겨워. 내가 한 일이고 혐의도 인정해. 할 말은 이것뿐이야.
She crosses her hands and the bracelet on her right wrist hits the table with a crisp sound. It's a special bracelet developed by the Omni-Spirits Bureau to suppress demonic powers. Oh really? But that's not what our investigation shows.
날 떠보려는 거야? 그럼 조사한 게 뭔지 한번 말해봐.
Well, you pause for a moment pretending to be serious then suddenly grab her wrist.
이게 뭐하는...
Before she reacts, a soft electronic beep sounds. You unlock the wristband. Her surprised demonic energy surges. You use the power of the bluebird to investigate, only to find that the mystic stag hasn't absorbed any other demonic energy. How did you... Before you can finish the sentence, all the lights in the interrogation room go out. Darkness swallows the space. A chaotic surge of demonic power rushes in with a cold wind. The temperature drops in an instant, sending chills down your spine. That power seems to want to take the mystic stag away. You grip her wrist tightly, feeling her being pulled in the other direction. The door is kicked open and dim light fills the room.
괜찮아요?
Through your blood vision, you see Artem rushing towards you, but he stops at the doorway. The demonic power blocks the space between you and Artem. He can't get through for now, but only the mystic stag's fingertips remain in your palm. She is about to be taken. I can't let her live. You push yourself up using the table, lunge forward and snap the bracelet back onto her wrist. You grasp her hand trying to pull her back, but you're a second too late. She leans backward, letting the demonic force wrap around her before she fades into the dim room. Through the murky light, you catch one last glimpse of her with her eyes filled with tears. Noise bursts in your ears. A chair is knocked over. Artem leans against the wall as if injured. Artem? The demonic energy vanishes along with the mystic stag. and the force restraining you leaves. You rush to Artem's side. He clutches his arm, blood seeping through his fingers. Without a first aid kit, you do what little you can to tend to him. What happened?
요괴 하나가 와서 검은 사슴을 데려갔는데 저를 다치게 하려던 건 아니었나 봐요.
The bleeding stops. Artem stares down at his blood-stained palm. Just now, you... Back in the darkness, Artem could hardly move. That's partly due to the demonic power restraints, but with his strength, the words roll around in your chest. Just as you hesitate to ask, you catch Artem giving a faint smile.
제가 눈이 안 좋아서 어두운 환경에서는 잘 안 보여요. 그래서 아까 요력에 휘말리면서 그만 다쳤어요.
An eye condition? Is it serious? You never mentioned that before.
오래된 지병이라서 완치는 힘들지만 일상생활에는 지장이 없어요.
As he speaks, he wipes the blood from the wound. A faint red smear remains in his palm.
이렇게 위험한 상황은 오랜만이네요.
Let's get your wound treated first. Artem shakes his head.
아니요. 아직 요력이 완전히 사라지지 않았어요. 저 힘을 따라가면 검은 사슴과 그녀를 데려간 요괴를 찾을 수 있을 거예요.
Don't worry, I've committed their demonic power to memory. Besides, the mystic stag's power is still being suppressed. So she won't be able to cause too much trouble. No matter how urgent the situation is, you can't go while injured.
알겠어요. 치료하고 가죠.
Why are there so many uncollected gold or tailings at the bottom of the cave? When I passed by earlier, the bricks keep falling down. I thought the stone steps were about to collapse. I believe these lights must be remnants from the previous counterfeit money case. A counterfeit money case? I've never heard of it. It's a case from many years ago. At the time, several monsters borrowed over 100,000 gold coins with the intention of minting counterfeit currency. In the end, they only managed to mint 100,000 gold coins, and they even tried to get me to help sue the counterfeiters. Before I could say anything, the Omni-Spirits bureau agents noticed them and quickly apprehended them. So the counterfeit money that was made back then was destroyed and left here. Yes, after all, even though they're counterfeit bills, a total of 100,000 isn't no small sum. It seems these fragments are the remnants of that. It must have been so hard on you and my colleagues at the Omni-Spirits Bureau. Beast Cave. In the dim surroundings, confirming the path becomes even more difficult than before. I feel like the dangerous terrain here is more concerning than getting lost. After you and Artem help each other along a rough and even stone stairway, some small firefly-like spirits catch your attention. Excuse me, are you monsters who reside here? We want to pass through this grotto. Could you tell us which path would be safer? The little firefly spirit flickers its light and glides close to the ground in the dark, lighting a path ahead for you. Brilliant! Thank you so much! With the little spirits guiding you, you set off at once and continue on your way. Beast Cave. You follow the traces left by the chaotic demonic energy and head deeper into the mines. Unexpectedly, while passing through a valley with extremely low visibility, the engulfing breath surges like a tide and engulfs you both. I'm fine. Let's get out of here. You quickly grab his arm and stumble out of the space. Although you escape in time, the accumulated engulfing breath still causes serious damage to his body. The wound was so deeply corroded this time. Ominous blood mist curls at the edge of the wound as you carefully places your palm against his chest. Don't worry, it's not as serious as it looks. He seems to be trying to comfort you, forcing a smile. Close your eyes, let me treat you first.
좀 불편했는데 이제 괜찮아졌어요. 네, 상처가 아물고 있어요.
The power of the blue bird finally disperses the lingering engulfing breath that clings to him, and the purified wound begins to heal slowly. Although the purification is complete now, I'll still need to treat it properly when I get back. Artem lifts his arm to examine the remaining scars, but his expression doesn't change much. For some reason, you sense a hint of scrutiny in his gaze, as if he is looking at something unfamiliar. Okay, I'll do as you see, but before that, we still need to find the real culprit. He gets up and turns toward the depth of the mine. You worry catches in your throat. Am I just imagining things, or does he not seem to care about himself? Beast Cave. Now that Artem's mostly recovered, you follow the lingering trail of demonic energy and finally arrive at the Beast Cave. The Beast Cave was once a large mine, but it was abandoned after the engulfing breath grew too thick inside. As you go deeper, the demonic aura mixes with the engulfing breath, making it impossible to trace. You stop at a fork. Artem shakes his head. Right, Artem. The demonic energy just now was chaotic. I believe the monster who rescued the mystic stag is the real culprit. After stealing the demonic powers from Changyu and Juru, the demon was unable to absorb them and now is on the verge of losing control. A sound comes from deeper inside. You and Artem exchange glances and crouch down to enter the left tunnel. You slow your steps. After walking only a short distance, you hear faint noises. Turning the corner, you find Mystic Steak and the monster who saved her standing before you. A girl with antlers, bearing a strong resemblance to the Mystic Stag, is anxiously fiddling with the bracelet on the Mystic Stag's wrist. No matter what she does, she can't seem to get to take it off.
저건 푸른 사슴이에요.
Artem lowers his voice, but he can't hide the surprise in his tone. Are they sisters?
네, 검은 사슴이 푸른 사슴 대신 죄를 뒤집어 쓴 것 같아요. 그러니 그때 그렇게 복잡한 감정을 보였던 거겠죠.
But with the Cyandeer's current power, I'm afraid we can't bring them both back. Let's hold our position for now and wait until I can contact rescue.
이미 늦었어요.
As soon as the words leave her mouth, the Cyandeer suddenly lets go of the Mystic Stag's wrist, clutches her own neck, and collapses to the ground. The Mystic Stag reaches out to support the Cyandeer, but is pushed away by the latter. Oh no, she's going berserk. You instinctively rush to the Cyandeer's side, but by the time you realize what you've done, all you hear is Artem calling your name. The sisters clearly think you've come to arrest them. Just as you're about to touch the Cyandeer, the Mystic Stag shoves you back. You try to dodge, but your footing slips. You crash into a nearby stone pillar, and your shoulder burns with pain.
푸른 사슴, 어서 도망!
The Mystic Stag doesn't finish her sentence. She suddenly freezes in place, completely motionless. The mining lamp flickers, shadows stretch out across the floor. While you turn around, Artem is already standing beside you. You met Artem's gaze, but the warmth you're used to seeing in his eyes is no longer there.
괜찮아요?
You can't find the words, so you shake your head. A sharp throat pulses at your temple. The familiar sensation flits over you like a tide. You look at Artem with a questioning gaze, hoping for an explanation, but it's like trying to catch the moon's reflection in water, just stirring ripples without grasping anything.
일단 저 둘을 데려가죠.
The mystic stag has been mysteriously restrained, while the cyan deer is suffering from being on the verge of losing control. Now is the perfect time to capture and bring them to justice. However, before you can act, the mine starts shaking violently. The ground between you and the mystic stag splits open.
조심해요!
Artem pulls you away from falling debris. The cyan deer seems to have regained control and runs to the mystic stag, grabbing her arm.
언니, 빨리 가자.
But she doesn't budge. The mystic stag stands there in a daze.
검은 사슴은 당신과 함께 가지 못할 거예요.
그쪽은
당신은 남의 요력을 빼앗은 혐의가 있으니 저희와 같이 가시죠.
Across a crack, the cyan deer shoots you both a hateful glare and then turns to whisper something into the mystic stag's ear. Then she transforms into a small deer and disappears swiftly into the darkness. The mine returns to calm. After spending time clearing debris and finding a way through the fissure, you finally reach the mystic stag's side. But the exit is completely blocked by rubble, so you have no choice but to wait for rescue. The mystic stag is too weak to escape. Artem removes her seal, and that familiar feeling stirs your nerves again. What kind of power does Artem possess? Like waking from a deep dream, the mystic stag stares blankly toward where the cyan deer left and curls up in a corner, silence.
이제 와서도 진실을 말하지 않을 건가요?
할 말 없어. 날 데려가.
당신은 공범이고 진짜 범인은 푸른 사슴이죠. 방금 그 균열은 용화의 능력에서 비롯된 것이고요. 그것만으로도 충분한 증거가 됩니다.
오래된 폐광은 제대로 관리가 안 돼서 무너지는 건 흔한 일이야. 근데 그걸 내 동생 탓으로 돌리겠다고?
You tug at Artem's sleeve and shake your head. He presses his sleeve and steps aside, letting you walk up to the mystic stag. Do you not care about the cyan deer anymore? The mystic stag's eyes flicker, growing sharp.
무슨 뜻이지?
The cyan deer has absorbed too much demonic energy, but she can't handle it at all. You saw it yourself. She is already starting to lose control. If we don't stop this now, your sister will completely transform into engulfing breath. Mystic Stag, is this truly the outcome you want? Seemingly recalling the cyan deer's earlier expression, the Mystic Stag's face softens slightly. I can save her. After saying this, you use the power of the bluebird to disperse the engulfing breath around you. Although the mystic stag's demonic power is suppressed, she can still feel the engulfing breath fading away. She lowers her eyes and stays silent for a long moment before giving a slight nod.
알겠어.
Tell us what happened first.
오래전 일이야. 내 동생은 선천적으로 약했고 태어날 때부터 요괴의 뼈에 균열이 있었어. 원래는 1000년을 넘기지 못할 운명이었지만 100년 전에 내가 구한 신비한 약초 덕분에 동생의 목숨을 연장할 수 있었지. 그런데 그때부터 요괴의 뼈에 난 균열이 점점 심각해지더라고. 요력이 요괴의 뼈를 강화할 수 있다는 건 알았지만 내 힘이 부족했어.
So that's why you're stealing power from other monsters. The mystic side clenches her fist, silently agreeing.
우리도 아무 죄 없는 이들을 함부로 해친 건 아니야. 창우, 거루, 그리고 그 용화라는 요괴까지 모두 뒤에서는 꽤 나쁜 일들을 했지.
그렇다고 해도 당신이 심판할 일은 아니에요. 법이 심판해야죠.
그런 건 상관없어. 동생만 구할 수 있다면 뭐든 할 거야. 요괴의 뼈가 많이 안정되긴 했는데 동생은 곧 폭주하게 될 거야. 결국 난 내 동생을 구하지 못했어.
She covers her face in emotional turmoil, hiding her tears. You want to comfort her, but all words feel lacking. Artem falls silent in thought. As if weighing something, after a long pause, he finally looks you in the eye.
저한테 비법이 하나 있는데 그걸 쓰면 푸른 사슴이 앞으로 요괴뼈의 균열로 고생하는 일은 없을 거예요.
진짜야?
The mystic side suddenly lifts her head, staring at Artem in disbelief. She leans forward and grabs his clothes as if clinging to her last hope. Artem doesn't stop her, nor does he do anything else. You step forward to help her up just as Artem's calm voice reaches your ears.
대가를 치러야겠지만 이게 유일한 방법이라고 생각해요.
어떤 대가?
Artem's gaze shifts to you. He pauses but gives no explanation.
걱정하지 마요. 푸른 사슴이 더 고통받게 하진 않을 테니까요.
What are they being so cryptic about? The mystic stag follows Artem's gaze to you. As if realizing something, she stops pressing and simply nods to him.
알겠어.
그리고 이 일이 끝난 뒤에는 법적 판결과 그에 따른 처벌을 받아야 할 겁니다.
The conversation ends abruptly. Artem turns to you.
지금 출구가 막혀 있으니 구조를 기다리기보다는 계속 전진하는 게 나을 것 같네요. 검은 사슴은 지금 요력이 없으니 여기 있고 푸른 사슴이 어디로 갔는지 우리가 확인해 볼까요?
Yeah, but she...
도망가지 않을 테니까 너희들은 가봐. 나랑 한 약속 잊지 마.
You take the mining lamps, then follow Artem into the dark cave where the cyan deer disappeared. After a moment of thought, you reach out to Artem. Artem, if you can see clearly, please hold on to me. He pauses, and only then do you realize how ambiguous your words sound. Your cheeks flush with heat. Don't get the wrong idea. Artem takes your fingertips in his cool palm. You instinctively curl your fingers.
가죠.
You cautiously move forward, holding Artem's hand with one hand and a mining lamp in the other. For a moment, the two of you stay silent. You have so many questions for him, and now that you're finally alone, you don't even know where to start. Noticing your silence, Artem pauses briefly and then speaks.
왜 그래요?
When you restrained the mystic stag earlier, it felt familiar. Artem, could you tell me what kind of spirit you were commanding? A soft, lonely sigh comes from behind. You turn your head involuntarily and catch a glimpse of Artem smiling faintly, almost mockingly under the dim light.
혼돈이에요.
One of the four great evil beasts?
네.
After peace returned between humans and monsters, the four great evil beasts ceased their violence. Some hide among humans, while others blended into society. Since then, there has been no news of the abandoned. You never expected Artem to be capable of commanding him. Everyone would be just as shocked as I am if they knew about this.
무섭지 않아요?
You shake your head. You still don't know where that strange sense of familiarity comes from, but Artem's honesty makes you feel more at ease. There are many contrasts between humans and monsters to begin with, and even I can only use monsters' powers because of the Bluebird's gift. I'm surprised, but if it weren't for your power just now, we might still be in danger. After all, even the power of the Handan will produce different effects depending on who wields it. You wink at Artem. But I'm guessing this is a secret.
비밀 지켜줄 수 있나요?
Of course. As you speak, a faint white light appears ahead. Only then do you realize you've reached the cave entrance. Outside is a shadowy forest. This cave connects to the delusional forest. Autumn lets go of your hand, but you still feel the warmth of his touch on your fingertips. The Cylinder fled into the delusional forest. She probably won't last long in her current state. But there is too much engulfing breath in the delusional forest. We can't just rush in recklessly.
우선 먼저 돌아가죠. 준비 마치는 대로 최대한 빨리 와요.
After marking the location, you both return to the cave. The rescue team arrives just in time and you leave with the mystic stag for now. I don't get it. Why would monsters post their advertisement in the delusional forest of all places? That's way too dangerous. I don't quite understand it either. The engulfing breath permeates through the delusional forest. Most monsters who manage to enter are focused on self-preservation and hardly had the luxury to look at such advertisements. Does that also mean that any monsters capable of posting such an advertisement must have enough power to protect themselves? Yes, with this line of reasoning, we should be able to narrow down the scope. Once we get back, we can investigate the business listed in the advertisement. That should help us identify who posted it. Okay. Oh man, to think we went through all that trouble to track down a master, only to end up dealing with some little flyer. Indeed, it is hard to believe. We'll have to wait until we find the person who posted it to ask about their motives. Delusional Forest. While moving through the forest, an elderly monster suddenly blocks your path. He looks each, his eyes dull and unfocused, but he insists on having you evaluate him. You're saying you want to take up the position of the chef among humans, and you can bring your own spatula. The great monster nods earnestly and then shows you the large pot strapped to its back. After thinking it over, you turn to look at Artem. Food is essential to people's lives, so a chef's assessment must be quite demanding. To confirm whether he is qualified for this position, we'll need to observe quite a few details, right? Yes, let's assess him while we're not busy. Okay. Though reluctant, the many shortcomings of the Huo Wu are facts that cannot be changed. Perhaps being a human chef really isn't the right job for him. Please don't be discouraged. Our preliminary assessment may contain some subjective opinions. If you're truly interested in this position, I recommend going to Hexo City for the assessment. Yeah, and there are many chef-related positions and workplaces out there. You'll definitely get a chance to fulfill your dream. Huo Wu nods slowly and steps aside to let you pass. Delusional forest. Watch out! The delusional forest is full of danger. Just as Artem tries to shield you, he suddenly clutches his stomach and drops to one knee. Artem, are you okay? The delusional forest grows darker. The corruption from the engulfing breath intensifies the deeper you go. You help Artem lean against a tree trunk, gently moving his hand away. Sure enough, a thick and strange black aura seeps from the wound. How did it get this serious? The wound crisscrossed all over, clearly making movement difficult for him. Be careful, engulfing breath, and the cyan deer. Beads of sweat trickle down his temple as he closes his eyes, breathing heavily while giving fragmented instructions. Alright, I understand. Let me help treat your wounds first. You try to stay calm and place your hand on the area with the worst injury. All you want now is to ease his suffering as quickly as possible.
상처가 조금... 혹시 놀랐나요? 저는 괜찮아요. 위험하니 조심해요. 걱정하지 마요. 앞으로는 이런 위험한 상황에 처하지 않도록 약속할게요.
Even though the engulfing breath has been purged, you still don't let go. Don't be upset. I'm much better now, aren't I? I'm just a bit shaken. You can't bear to imagine what danger Artem might have faced if his wound hadn't been discovered and treated in time. He lifts his hand and you instinctively expect his fingertips to linger on your cheek. But those pale fingertips only brush past the ends of your hair. Pardon me, there was a whiff of engulfing breath left, and I dispelled it. Thank you. The more he tries to explain, the more force it feels. That gentle touch, like a butterfly fluttering its wings, stays only for a moment, yet it stirs faint ripples of something different. Fortunately, you saved me once again, preventing the engulfing breath from invading any deeper. So grateful that my power can save you. Color slowly returns to his pale cheeks as Artem closes his eyes briefly and gets to his feet. But our most pressing task right now is to continue searching for the cyan deer. The butterfly, its wing fluttering lightly, seems to have drifted away and you return to where you stood before. Okay. You nod and set off with him. This unrest must eventually come to an end. When it does, everything will settle into place. Delusional Forest. Once preparations are complete, you apply for a special outing permit for the Mystic Stag and bring her with you to the Delusional Forest. When the engulfing breath outbreak happened, the most dangerous monsters were driven into the forest. The corruption here is even denser than you imagine. Artem frowns as the Mystic Stag's breathing turns rapid. You help stabilize her mind and clear away some of the surrounding engulfing breath. The delusional forest is vast, and the Mystic Stag can stay here for long, but how can we find the cyan deer?
혹시 짐작가는 게 있나요?
Before she can answer, a violent gust of wind tears past, carrying a surge of demonic energy towards you. You are just about to defend yourself when she suddenly throws herself in front of you.
푸른 사슴, 그만둬!
The demonic energy fades in front of the mystic stag, gently ruffling her hair. The deer-horned girl walks out from the woods, her eyes dark and somber as if she has become one with her surroundings.
언니, 왜 저 사람들을 구해준 거야?
나는 이 사람들을 구하려는 게 아니라 널 구하려는 거야. 백 변호사가 네 고통을 완전히 끝낼 수 있다고 했어.
But those words seem to strike a nerve. The Saiyan deer suddenly grows agitated.
말도 안 돼. 우리도 여태까지 못 찾았는데 인간 따위가 어떻게 방법을 알고 있다는 거야?
내 말 좀 들어봐.
The Saiyan deer groans, cutting off the mystic stag. She clutches her chest and can no longer hold her human form.
서둘러야 할 것 같아요.
The Saiyan deer can no longer control her demonic power. Shattered stones on the ground suddenly hurtle towards you. Artem blocks them all, but the Saiyan deer's power seems endless. The assault doesn't stop. While she's distracted, Artem pulls you behind a large tree. He leans down and whispers in your ear.
제가 푸른 사슴을 견제할 테니 당신은 뒤에 봐서 정화해요.
Got it. The mystic stag continues pleading with her nearby, but the Saiyan deer raises her hand. Just like in the interrogation room that day, the mystic stag is swept up by the demonic energy and drawn toward her. Her voice fades into the swirling power, leaving only her eyes visible, eyes filled with worry for the Saiyan deer.
언니, 지금 당장 구해줄게.
Hold on.
가지 마요.
A loud crash erupts by your ear. Artem pulls you into his arms and covers your ears. You look up. Before you can ask him what that was all about, you see fire erupt all around you. Flames surround you and Artem. There's no way forward or back. No way. The fire grows wilder. Trees crackle and burn. The Saiyan deer stands on the far end, a ball of flame hovering between her hands.
형옥의 불꽃이군요.
The Saiyan deer's brows knit tightly. Using the flames of Mars strains her body even more, but still she doesn't stop.
너희는 여기서 죽는 거야.
그런가요?
Artem speaks coldly. His eyes are emotionless and deep as an abyss. Light gathers in his palm. The Saiyan deer freezes. He stares in disbelief, trying to move even a single finger, but is useless. Artem, you... This is the true power of the Hundun. Even the Saiyan deer, after absorbing the strength of three powerful demons, falls under Artem's control in an instant. Suddenly, darkness clouds your vision. All sound begins to fade. In a haze, you think Artem sees something to you, but you can't answer. You can't even speak his name. Your heart pounds. You glance around uneasily. Drawn by that familiar feeling, you see a dense star-like blackness. What's that? A flash of white light appears before your eyes. You raise your hand to shield them, only to realize you are still in the delusional forest, with Artem standing safely beside you. Everything that just happened feels like an illusion. You rub your eyes. What happened to me?
얼른 가요.
Artem gives your arm a light push, and you finally notice the Saiyan deer's vacant stare. She is clearly fallen completely under Artem's control. The flames in her hands have vanished, replaced by a small shot of ice, likely the eternal ice. The surrounding flames haven't fully died down, but a path opens before you, leading toward the Saiyan deer. You rush to her side, emerald light enveloping you entirely. Much of the demonic power that doesn't belong to her is stripped away. She finally calms down but collapses as if she has run out of strength.
왜 우리를 그냥 놔두지 않는 거야?
법 외에도 인정이란 게 있죠. 당신들의 행동은 이해할 수 있지만 그렇다고 처벌을 면할 수는 없어요. 저는 당신들의 변호사로서 공정한 판결을 끌어내도록 할 겁니다.
The power restraining the mystic stag disappears. She crouches down and gently embraces the cyan deer.
이제 그만해. 널 구하기 위해서라면 뭐든 할 수 있지만 네가 삼켜진 숨결로 변하는 걸 보고 싶진 않아. 평범하게 같이 살고 싶다고 했던 거 기억나? 근데 네가 없으면 그게 다 무슨 소용이겠어. 이번 한 번만 저 사람들을 믿어보자. 정말 방법이 있을지도 모르잖아?
The cyan deer lowers her arm and starts crying uncontrollably in the mystic snake's arms. You glance at Artem. His kiss is calm and gentle, yet unreadable. You lower your head and stop overthinking. You tell yourself that at least this is over. This is over now. Street. Everything returns to peace. When you visit Artem's law office again with a new case file, it feels like an entire lifetime has passed. The twin deer case was tried behind closed doors. After handing them over to the authorities that day, you can only learn about what happened from Artem. I'll ask him about it later. But you look around, but the law firm's door is nowhere to be seen. Did the law firm disappear?
절 찾고 있나요?
A familiar voice comes from behind. You turn around in surprise to see Artem standing just a step away. Artem, why are you...
얼마 전에 사슴자매 사건이 끝나고 좀 지쳐서 잠시 사무소를 숨겨뒀어요.
You're close?
사전 예약한 고객만 상담하고 있어요.
Then you're coming here today. The thought makes you rub your nose a little embarrassed. I must be disturbing you then, aren't I?
아니요. 당신이라면 언제든지 환영이죠.
Artem pauses and glances at your nose.
더 비비면 코가 빨개질 거예요.
So, how are we going to get in? You awkwardly change the subject, but Artem doesn't seem to mind. He points at a mossy brick above your head. Deep green spreads from a crack in the wall. It's not very noticeable. He then taps the far corner of the brick. But the familiar door you expect doesn't appear.
실례할게요.
Huh? You look at Artem in confusion. He lets out a quiet laugh and gently covers your eyes with his hand. Unlike that day in the beast cave, his palm is warm. Your face becomes warm along with it. Light filters through your fingers as Artem guides you forward. You don't touch any walls, and the noise of the street fades away. Artem lets go of you. Artem Monster Law Office. In the blink of an eye, you are already standing inside the office. What's going on?
그 문은 바라보면 열리지 않아요. 그래서 들어오고 싶을 땐 주시를 멈춰야 하죠. 다음엔 그냥 들어와요.
You nod and place the case file on his desk. Alright, how are the missing stag and the cyan deer doing?
순조롭게 해결됐어요. 그 자매도 마땅한 처벌을 받았고요. 이제 모든 게 끝나면 두 요괴도 새로운 삶을 시작할 수 있을 거예요.
You finally feel the weight in your chest ease, and you breathe a sigh of relief. That's great. Artem opens the case file. He glances at it and taps his finger twice on the desk.
사슴자매 사건은 끝났지만 지금 또 다른 까다로운 사건이 생긴 것 같네요. 저와 함께 조사하지 않을래요?
Sunlight streams through the window, falling beside Artem and lighting up the tiny floating dust motes in the air. He doesn't rush you to answer, he just waits in silence. If you keep quiet, maybe he'll wait until sunset, until moonrise, or even until the stars appears before dawn. But you don't want the wait between you to last that long, so you lean toward him and meet his gaze. Of course, I'm willing.